Welcome back, guys. Another episode of Diagnostic Dennis. Got a 2002 BMW X5 3.0 with a misfire of some sort. It's a European, so I'm gonna get as much information as possible because I need as much help as possible. Turn the key on, hit code scan, misfire cylinder 6, ignition cylinder 6. Misfire cylinder 2. So I have 2 codes for cylinder 6 and 1 code for cylinder 2. DME, misfire cylinder 6, ignition cylinder 6, misfire cylinder 2. Misfire cylinder 2 supposedly, but cylinder 6 has a misfire and ignition problem. So let's try to go into data, look at their so-called misfire data. Smooth running values, I believe it's called. So custom data list, deselect, engine speed. Smooth running value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Start her up. See how cylinder 1, engine 1, is low. There's no unit of measurement. And I don't know too much about this. 3 just started misfiring, it says. But 1 is low, 2 is 1.5, so that's high, 3 is low, 4 is low, 5 low, and 6 high. So it's saying 2 and 6 are the misfires. Those are the difference. Those are the ones that are different. I can feel it, hard misfire, so I'm gonna do a relative compression first, but it feels like a single cylinder misfire. I don't see it being 2 cylinders, but I could be wrong. So I'm gonna do a relative compression test, save this data for one. Relative compression test, and then cylinder drop test. Get these ready to go. I'm sure I'll be taking these off eventually. I like to sync my relative compression. I'll just do relative compression. Battery's gonna be in the trunk, I'm sure. Trunk or out of God, where's the battery?
Under the seat?
Okay.
Nope, not under the seat.
It's not?
No, it's probably gonna be
Right there? No. Oh, it's underneath the tire, dude. I'm trying to do relative compression.
You can't use the hot post in the front?
I don't know, can I? Does it go?
This goes pretty good.
The question is, does it go battery to here, then from here to the starter?
To the starter, and then from the starter to the alternator.
So this is
directly to the starter.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So say that again, from the battery to right here?
Yeah. Battery to right there, and then it goes there down to the starter, and then it splits and goes to the alternator.
Oh, okay, I see that. So, dude, they literally give you a perfect relative compression probe point. That's bitching, I gotta say.
They do give you some good stuff, but then good luck getting that right one. It's like you can't slide your hand in there. M54, right?
Yeah.
Where is it?
I don't know, bro. You are the BMW expert, Mr. Arga Taverdi. Hey, man. Oh, that one?
Oh, well, Cadillac expert over here. Whoa.
So, dude, I'm just spoon feeding my information. How do I disable the fuel? What's the easiest way? This is fucking awesome.
Well, if it was a Ford, it had a fucking rollover valve.
That's where I've been disconnecting them.
Is that what you've been using?
I used to go to the rear where the module is and just unbolt the ground that's right next to it. But like I had a car where it's on the ground. I'm like, I can't get on the lift. I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking go to the behind the kick panel. I had to take the kick panel off, but then unplug it and I'm done.
Oh, you can do that too. I like to undo it. I'm not a relative, but if I tried to do that a few times.
Don't touch it.
What?
There's spider things on it.
Oh, bro. Spider eggs.
Yeah. I made your life easier because the connector looks tricky.
It kind of does.
You gotta pull them.
Pull it as you slide it over.
You slide over and then pull it, but you sometimes people think it's like 2 big tabs on the side.
Oh, no.
Because it's like buried in there.
I was gonna say, yeah, dude, it's fucking buried. I mean, there's an access plate. That's kind of silly, but.
Well, that's when you're pulling the
pump
out.
Yeah.
Weird.
All right, so fuel disabled. My Negro, dude.
He's worried about his motorcycle. Okay. And then Matt and I are going to pick up Sandy Rose.
Yes, sir. Huh. Okay. Gotcha anyway. So, relative. Right there. Wow.
He brought it in for like an oil change, some random shit, and I told him about it. Fucking last year.
Wow. Engine covers on the windshield. So here's our coils. Looks like it's just a rubber cover. And there we go. And fun fact, I believe these coils are essentially 2-wire coils. I mean, they're 3-wire, but I believe you can get primary voltage off of these. X1. I'm gonna change it to a 2000 amp probe. We got an attenuator, so we're gonna change that to 10-to-1 attenuator. So we're essentially ready to go. 500 millisecond time base, so it's 5 seconds on the whole screen. 5 microsecond. So I'm gonna hit the sample rate, number of samples. It's 1 mega sample, 2, and if I hit up on this goes down. I want 1 micro. So we're zoomed out. I'm gonna put a trigger, single, B. Here's my trigger. Move it over here. Put 10. And it's at 300 amps. That's fine. Change to 1000 amps. Turn it on. Here's it zeroing out, calibrating, and we're zeroed. So we're recording. Now we crank. It'll probably start because there's fuel in the rail. Gotta hit reset. So this starter took just over 500 amps. And I don't really need that information. This is a good one, 500 amp scale max. Just to show you, you can use a 600 amp clamp. You don't really need the 2000, but you do need a high amp clamp. Sounds good, feels good, and looks good. Zoom in on one cycle, one rotation. And yeah, so I do get primary voltage. It's multi-strike. I'll show you one. There's one. It's a lot of noise going on there. It looks open. That's what an open looks like. But then here's, you got a spark line at the very end. Shoop. It's actually really nice. But yeah, here's, let's do this. Boom, 1, it's under 1, and then in firing order, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1 again. But specifically, they're all even. If there's a compression problem, you see one peak will be low or missing. Big change. I won't say big, but change. Change. Change, but small change. Still change though. Change. Change. And of course, my luck is going to be this back one. No change. Plugged in. Unplugged, no change. Cylinder 6. X marks the spot. Let's go low tech, and we'll find out why. Let's put one bolt back on the ground side. Both of them have ground wires going to it. Now cylinder 1, no change. Cylinder 6, change. Boom, dead coil. Why? And you might be thinking, you just swap coils without doing any waveforms. But I did relative compression and I got primary on that one, at least on a good, known good. So I just hit start recording. Zoom in on one of them. And that looks like that one coil on the Kia that I just did, where it doesn't look nice. It's just short, abrupt, and it looks weird on the spark line. But I'm missing part of the picture here, and I want current ramp. That was not the goddamn fuse box, our god. So it's not the fuse box, but it's exactly what I need actually, because this whole coil harness goes into here, goes into the firewall, and that loom goes up in here, and then this. So if I had to guess, it's going to be this thick red wire, because all of them or else are black with tracers, and then the brown ground wire. So this is probably going to be the power supply, and then it splices from red. Oh yeah, red white. There it is. The tracer's hiding, but the tracer is there. So that's my power. So I'll be able to current ramp through there. Arrow going backwards on this. It's hard to see, but there's an arrow right there. That's current flow on the meter, on the probe. So I like to go around the wire, and it's not activated. Turn it on. It's calibrating itself on the turn on usually, like the high amp probe. But I like to connect everything and then just hit 0, and I'll double check the 0. What's interesting is BMW is a multi-strike like Ford, and you can see by the current ramps, the red is when it's turned on and the current is building in the coil. The magnetic field is building. Got one, then it shuts it off, and there's a very, very short spark line, and then it turns it right back on, and then the ramp goes up. This is what a shorted coil looks like too sometimes. If it gets this bad, you'll have a straight up line this much. Usually it's just a little straight up line, and then the current ramp takes over after that. But on Fords, if you don't see the short and it looks normal, then that's a bad coil. It's not using all of its energy, or it doesn't have enough energy to use. So magnetic fields are not leftover. This is leftover magnetic field that it is still in energy inside the coil. So I swapped the coils back. X marks the spot is back there, so we're original places. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go next to the cylinder that's closest to cylinder 6 in the firing order. Be easier. So 3 or 2, so I'll go to 2. So what I mean by that is now they're next to each other. Before there was 2 ramps before, so it was cylinder 1 and cylinder 6. Now I can do this, and we can see the good primary voltage line. Come on. Too much. Here's the good spark line on the primary voltage of cylinder 2. And here's the weak spark line. See how this one, you see a bunch of oscillations right here? That's energy. And it jumps out and it comes out, and and then it starts to get lean a little bit because it burned all the fuel, so it starts to get hard to keep the gap sustained. So then it blows out, and then you have a couple oscillations on the turn off. That's residual energy that it couldn't keep the gap sustained, but it's not zero, so it oscillates a little bit. It's got to go somewhere. And then this, you got some oscillations right here. I will give that some credit, but it used all of its energy and there's nothing left over. So it's a weak coil, and surprisingly it's not shorted. Green looks fine on that one as well as this one. Yeah, see how this one, it's got oscillations, the turn on oscillations. They're pretty nice. But cylinder 6, they're not that nice. But I don't know, this one's kind of tall, kind of peters out a little bit. Because from here, from zoomed out, looking at the full, it's still a tree, but it looks a tiny bit shorted. Whereas this one doesn't look shorted at all. If anything, it looks busy with oscillations. And then you zoom into it, and it is. I say they're bigger oscillations on this one. That's not a bad spark line, but you can see no oscillations on the turn off when there is there. Boom. So, needs a coil. So yeah, pulled the coils out obviously, but I pulled the the bad plug out, and then I pulled the regular plug out to compare to. Here's the good one, supposedly, cylinder 2, cylinder 1 I mean, and here's cylinder 6. But the electrode's like gone. Center electrodes are flat. And guess what? No way. No good Kevin's ruining coils. I'm shocked. So 1 coil and 6 plugs are recommended. At the very least, 1 coil and 1 plug. And that's what a new one's supposed to look like. Okay, dudes, I don't make the BMWs, I just work on them. So, final check, and this is just more for my eyes. Let's see if we have a dead coil, completely dead or whatever. Spark check here. So there's a spark line. Just doesn't look good at all. So no spark. Putting my test light in there, grounded. Oh, I got 1, 2. Nothing. Pull this guy out completely. I'm putting my test light in there and I don't see anything. There is no spark happening at all. Weak coil. That's what I mean. To make this spark, I have to be like a millimeter, half a millimeter. Literally almost basically touching it. But I'm looking for boot leakage. Which I don't see any. Let's say also basically just secondary leakage as well. And secondary just means the high voltage part of the spark. 12 volts is the primary, 40,000 is the secondary. But you can see it looks like the old one essentially. 15. Bremy coil, factory OE. And here's our boot. Okay, spark checker in there. And coils 1 and 2 have a ground, so I'll give it that ground. Coil bolts. Let's start it and let's see some spark. There we go. Nice strong spark. Alright, so coil in, bolted in, fully assembled, ready for complete repair verification. And it's maxing out all of 400 volts. Okay, waveform saved. You're not going to be able to see it here, so I'll show it later on. 1, 5, and 6 show a value on the smooth running value. And the engine's running perfect, so shows you that this counter is not perfect. 5, it just went to 0 and came back up, so I don't know. That's why I don't pay attention too closely to Misfire counters. They're good, but they're not great. BMW 2 and 6 primary and current ramp after. Boom. We got activity going across, and it kind of loses its energy. I wouldn't say blowout, but it loses energy and then it comes back to life. Same thing with there. Strong. And we got good spark now. Let's zoom in. Spark blows out, and we got a oscillation. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So literally double or half, however you want to call it. Similar pattern right there and right there. This one and that one are very similar. One last example. We got activity. So with that being said, I think we could wrap this up. Diagnostic Dennis out.